part 2. We're going to look more at the equations rather than the graphs. So describe how the graph of the function can be obtained from one of the basic functions. So we're going to look at this one here and identify x squared plus 1/2. X squared is your basic function. So we're looking at what does that plus 1/2 do? Well, since it's not included with the x, anyways, it's not x plus 1/2, all of that squared, it's going to affect your y value, not your x value. And so this one is going to simply move it up 1/2. That's all that's going to happen on this one. Okay, this one here, the parent graph would be the square root of x. But since that -1 is inside the radical, it's going to affect the direction this going. So remember, this is an x minus h idea. So you already have the x, you have the minus, so h equals 1. So it's going to move it to the right 1. So it's the square root of x, move to the right 1. That's it. Okay, this one. Your parent graph would have been 1 over x, but this -2 part is included with the x. It's kind of grouped there with the x. So on this one here, what's going to happen is it's going to be 1 over x. You have that x minus 2, and remember this is that same thing, x minus h. You have the x, you have the minus, so it's h equals 2. So it's your 1 over x moved to the right 2 because your h value is positive and therefore moved to the right. Okay, I want to do a couple of these on the notes, and I'll do the others in class. So we'll do the top 2, the other 2 will move to in class. Okay, so the same thing still is what is the basic graph and what happened. Your basic graph would have been just x. So that plus 1, since it's not grouped with the x, is going to move it up 1. And then this 2 here, since it's involved with the x, is going to give it a shrink. And that one's going to, or a stretch. This one will be a vertical stretch by 2. That's what this guy is doing. So this is where we go back to our original notes, and if you look at the stretch and shrink and so on and so forth, that a vertical stretch is you have the 2 in front of the f of x. And that's going to affect it. And so that's what's going on with that. Okay, so this one, absolute value of x, so your parent graph would still be absolute value of x. This guy's on the outside, so he affects the y values. And since it's on the outside, we get to identify that it will be flipped over the x-axis. And this plus 2, that since it's not inside there, is going to move it up 2. Okay, so these other 2 here, we'll do those 2 in class tomorrow or when we get to this. Okay, the next kind of problems is they're going to describe to you, and then you have to identify what the equation is. So write an equation for a function that has a graph with the given characteristics. The shape of y equals square root of x, so there's your parent graph. The shift to left 6 units, so that's going to give you a -6. And if you do an h minus in front, that's going to tell you this is h plus 6. Sorry, that should be x plus 6. Let me erase that. Try that again. That's going to be an x minus the -6. The -6 to the left, the negative tells you which direction, to the -6. But remember, our formula is x minus h. Well, my h is -6. There's the minus, there's the x. So this is really x plus h. Sorry, x plus 6. Now it looks too much like a b. X plus 6. And then it's moved down 5. This is going to be the equivalent to your k value. And it's just moved down 5. So this guy is going to be y equals the square root. This goes with it, moved left to right, you're going to go with the grouping, x plus 6 minus 5. That minus 5 will be on the outside. So the biggest thing is identifying what the main function is and whether or not you have to group it with the x. So the next one, x cubed, but turned upside down and shifted right 5. Shifted right 5. This is your x minus h. Anytime they say left or right, h for horizontal. So since you're going to the right 5, your h value is 5. So it's just x minus 5. It is grouped with the x. And turned upside down is the whole thing is going to be negative. So this is going to be negative, grouped with the x, is the 5, x minus 5 cubed. And there's that one. Now the last one we'll set aside for to do in class as well. Okay, so if you want to get started on the homework on this one, there it is. I know there's a lot of problem. Here's the deal. Make sure you identify this as being day 2. And that way, because the homework will go in twice. Day 1 homework, day 2 homework. And split these up about evenly. All right, and good luck.